I could not imagine. Bro, I just hit the mic because I'm fucking so excited.
I know that burnout's real. It gets hard and you feel overwhelmed and you feel stressed, and like that's not cool. And you want to be able to manage it the best way you can. But
drugs and alcohol. Whoa, yeah. Let's go.
Just do the work. Like deliver good work, deliver it on time, and you start building trust. They're like, oh man, yeah, this guy's actually legit. Paying attention to those three things is when I'm the happiest.
Yeah, definitely. Hey Quinn, like I've got this Porsche 911 that I want photographs, a couple of videos, that sort of thing. Can you help me out? Anyway, guys, welcome back to the podcast. So today, Kenny, what are we talking about today?
How to avoid creative burnout. I think also like just longevity, how to create longevity in your career, how to deal with burnout, and to do this for a really long time without trying to avoid those feelings of not wanting to do it anymore.
Yeah. How have you dealt with burnout? Like what do you think causes burnout?
I think burnout
as a creative
is different depending on who you talk to. I think it's specific. For me, I feel like there's been times where I've felt overwhelmed, like extreme overwhelm, heaps of work on, and like, what would you call it? Peak stress.
Peak stress, yeah.
Where I'm just like, this is fucked.
Yeah.
And I hate everything. And there's been moments, like over 4 or 5 years, there's been times, like periods, where I've just felt like I've had enough.
Yeah.
And I've almost put myself in that position. But you haven't stopped. No.
Bro, you are the hardest working creative I probably know. You work every day.
Every day.
Like every day.
Yeah.
7 days a week.
True. But it's figuring it out. Like everything I do now is completely different to how I did things when I started.
How did you, what's changed in the last like
It's hitting all those walls, like getting to that, getting to burnout. Yeah, really hard, ridiculously stressed, and figuring out like, how do I not feel this way anymore?
Were you losing sleep over like jobs and stuff? Yeah.
Oh man, like your mind, I think that's the hard part when you work for yourself. Your mind is constantly going.
Yeah.
And you can't switch it off. And you're in bed, your eyes are shut, but your mind is just non-stop.
Working
and you can't sleep. Because it's the stress. And I think it's managing stress. This is what burnout is for me. For other people, it might be different. But for me, it's like it's overwhelm. It's like way too much stress, taking on too much of a workload, not having the right process, and then figuring out ways to, because a lot of the time you question yourself. When you're in that position, it's the weirdest conversation you will ever have with yourself, because you're in this position where you're like, a year ago, I would have died to be in this position. This is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So it's the biggest mind fuck, because you question yourself. So I'm like, I should be happy.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be complaining.
I have all this work. Yeah. Like why I make money with a camera. What am I doing?
Exactly. It's like, this is the dream. But it's like, it's making yourself realize that it's okay to feel that, and being like, you can fix it. There's so many ways that, like, that's not the way it should be. Like, you don't need to accept that.
Yeah.
You can do things differently. There's so many ways. There's so many different ways of getting there. And it's just figuring out what works for you. Like, things that I find frustrating or don't like, you might love.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So for me, burnout might be like, I hate doing this part and this part and this part. You might love it. So for you, that may not stress you out as much as it stresses me out.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like trying to navigate, like, what are the things that really stress me out? How can I do them better? And changing the process and like workflow over time so that I am enjoying it. Yeah. And I'm able to do it. The reason I'm able to do it every day is because I found ways to enjoy doing it all the time and trying to avoid the things that, because you really can. I think that's the whole point of this whole episode, is to figure it, like, it's like self-awareness, self-reflect, like, why did I reach those points of burnout that we've probably both had, and how have we navigated it so that someone else who's just starting out can avoid them before reaching them?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. You're not going to do the work unless you love it. Like you're going to put it off, and you're going to be like, and then you're going to leave it to the last minute when the deadlines are or whatever, and then you're stressing.
It's
so
more
you're putting
stress.
all the stress on yourself. Yeah.
So what's it for you?
Oh, for me, it's probably like, I'm a yes man. So I'll just say, yes, I could do that job, or yes, yep. I'll look through the diary and be like, okay, yeah, I've got a wedding like the next day or the day before, but I can still do that. Like,
I'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out.
Yep.
And then you're like, oh shit, why did I say yes to this? I'm so tired. Like, I just did 12 hours yesterday, and now I've got to do another 8 or whatever. So yeah, probably that's my biggest flaw, is like just always saying yes to jobs. And then
I saw you
like,
do that this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I said a lot of yeses. And I'm just like, nah, it's fine. And then at the end of the week, you're like, holy shit, man.
I'm checking your stories. I'm like, bro, he's still there.
I'm doing everything, man. I was like, oh, shit. But that and probably, just like the hardest thing with ADHD is like those deadlines. Because you're just like, yeah, it's coming, but like I can do it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, it's 12 a.m. and you're still up editing, or like it's 3 a.m. and you're like, nah, this is fine. And then you ruin the next day. So anyway, it's like saying yes and then deadlines. Those are my things for burnout. And so yeah, just trying to pull them back and being like, you know what, like I don't need to say yes to every job. My bank balance is fine. Like I'm not going to lose money saying no. If anything, it's going to elevate your work and your status, right? Because you're specifically focusing on this, or could be weddings or houses. So if you're doing like these other jobs, you're like, it's taking away from my brand, and then you get stressed about that. Anyway, that's the whole thing. No,
it's true. I've found that when you say because I'm the same, right? Yeah. Saying yes to everything and realize, yeah, man, I'll figure it out. Like in my head, while I'm saying yes, I'm like, I don't know when the fuck I'm going to edit that. Like I have no time.
When am I going to do this? Yeah.
But I'm like, like you, it's like, man, once it's shot, I'm like, as long as I shoot it, I can edit this at midnight. Like I can edit this whenever I want. You have
time.
So I'll find time.
Yeah.
But what I found is when you're in those positions, as much as you want to say yes to everything, you then start giving a bad service to everyone.
Yeah.
And no one gets a good experience.
It comes back to one of our earlier episodes where it's like customer experience and customer service is so important.
Yep.
And if you're saying yes to every job, you're going to deliver possibly a poor product and deliver a poor customer experience. So it's better just to say no and deliver the best quality work that you can. But I think probably like number one, if you're feeling burnout, I would say take breaks. Take some time off. Whether if you a day could be a week, but I would say
take a break.
Yeah, it's okay to take a break. Like as long as you communicate that with your clients or like people who you have deadlines with or whatever, just say, hey guys, look, you don't have to say, I'm taking a break for burnout or whatever, but you could just say, hey guys, these will be delivered at this time. Please do not contact me before that, blah, blah, blah.
And plan it in advance.
Yeah.
Like if you wait until you're burnt out and then say, man, I need a break, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
That's not going to be good for anyone. Because you're like, man, I'm bouncing, I'm leaving all your jobs because I've had enough.
Yeah.
That's not good. But if you plan it, a lot of it's just organizing your life.
Yeah, exactly.
And saying in 2 months' time, I'm going to take a week off. I don't know whether I'm going to be burnt out or not, but that's going to avoid me reaching that point.
Yeah, I think honestly, it probably shouldn't come to that point. Like if you have all your policies and procedures in place where you're like, you have everything listed out and all your deliverables are set at a certain time and you're hitting them, you probably shouldn't be hitting burnout. But if it does happen, take a break. Yep. You recently just took a big break.
I did.
I did. Tell us about that.
Japan. And I just got back.
Damn.
And that's actually perfect. It's exactly what you were saying.
Yeah.
I planned this for months.
Yeah.
With clients, with all my clients. I made them feel like a couple, were freaking out.
a little bit.
That I wasn't going to be around because they didn't think, because we work with clients weekly, so they expect these jobs done every week. So they weren't sure. It's almost like they were scared that they weren't going to get
top quality Kenny service.
Or just that they weren't going to get it in time or at all. And we planned more than a month in advance.
Yeah.
We had a schedule in place. I told them I'm going to be away for a week, but you carried a lot of the workload.
Yeah. My I don't know how you do it, bro. My shoulders are sore, like my back's hurting. I had to go see my physio, Dave. Like he helps me out, but
you stepped up big, man.
Anyway, no. But what was the best thing about taking that break, especially going over to Japan? Because that's probably the destination for most content creators.
It is.
They want to go to Japan because there's just so much there.
I know. There's so much. I follow heaps of creatives that are based in Japan or make a lot of content around Japan. So I really wanted to go because of that. They're in Canada
Oh yeah.
I just follow so many creators that live in both those places, and it just makes me want to go there.
You see it all the time, and you're like, oh, I got to go there.
It's to be like, that's a real place that I can go to.
Yeah.
And when you go there, it's that plus more.
Yeah.
It's a creative's dream.
What was the number one takeaway from going to Japan as a creative? I could easily live there. Yeah.
If you're trying to just make cool creative shit.
Yeah.
You could spend a very long time there and never run out of things to create. I'm trying to convince you to.
I'm going.
Go.
Like you've already sold me on the Osmo 3, the Pocket, and you've already sold me on Japan. Like I'm going.
You need to. It's its own world, its own vibe, its own culture, its own. Japan's Japan. Like there's no other way to explain it. Like it's its own thing. Those people have their own style, their own fashion. The things that they like are just things that they like. Like no one else. They're not copying anyone else.
They don't have any influence from outside.
No.
Yeah.
They'd be like tiny influences like with their fashion and whatnot, but they've made it their own.
Yeah.
There were so many times I'd be on the train and I'm like, everyone here looks so cool, man.
Yeah.
And they're not even trying. Like they're just dressed normally. Like you can tell this is just what they dress
day
to day, like mums, kids. And I'm like, they look so damn cool.
Yeah.
But that's just them. That's how they live. The cities, the lights, the everything. The people are so nice.
Yeah.
The people are so damn nice.
Man.
Everyone will help you. Like it's weird to say because it's like you have to experience it.
Yeah.
You have to. Everyone.
So you have to go book that flight to Japan right now.
Yep.
To get rid of burnout. Just go to Japan.
Totally.
It'll
really
reset everything.
It.
We could probably talk about Japan like in a whole.
I could.
Like a whole episode.
I could. There's so much. There's so much about it. There's so much about it. It's not just one thing.
It's everything.
City, the culture, the nature, the people, the food, the fashion. Yeah. I only got back yesterday. That's why. Just so fresh, people know.
Still fresh in your mind.
Why? But yeah, the hardest thing was like I went. It was just really hot. But we went because it's like super cheap deal. It was $500. It was like a one-way trip there. We got the free flight back.
Best experience, just go in summer, deal with the heat, maybe.
You get
cheap
for
flights,
that price, cheap flights.
Cheap. Yeah.
But we got stitched up because of that. I knew when I'm paying when I get a deal, I'm like, okay, they're gonna make us go when no one really wants to go.
Yeah.
So it was really hot. If it was cooler, like I'd say autumn, spring, you never want to leave.
Yeah.
And what was the other thing? Oh, the flights back. We flew overnight.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right. I remember.
So
because you were saying, "Hey man, just about to jump on a flight," and then the next message, like, however many hours later, I'm in Brisbane.
We got on a plane at 10 p.m.
Yeah,
and flew and landed at 6 a.m. So this was the stitch. I'm guessing this is why the tickets were so cheap.
Yeah.
And bro, I don't know why the tickets that we got for some reason, everyone on the plane like you had to buy food, but the tickets we got included food.
Okay.
So me, the girlfriend, and like 5 other people on the plane were like given food. They're like, hey, this is for you.
Oh, wow.
Which was weird. I don't know. It was just included in the ticket.
Yeah.
However, the lady came by and she was like, oh, do you want coffee? It's free. It's included in your ticket. And I never say no to coffee, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, yeah, give me, hit me up with the coffee.
Yeah.
The girlfriend just looked at me. She's like, you're an idiot. And I'm like, why? She's like, it's 10 p.m. Bro, everyone was sleeping on that plane.
Did you not?
I was buzzing. I watched YouTube the whole flight.
Yeah, right.
I downloaded like 20 YouTube videos. I was so pumped. Everyone was passed out. My eyes were buzzing, man. I didn't sleep the whole flight. I was just watching YouTube videos. So I'm fucked right now.
Yeah, shit.
I'm like, my sleeping patterns are all over the place. I'm drinking pre-workout.
Yeah, right.
Just
stay awake.
Yeah. My sleep's been all over the place.
Yeah, man.
So probably not good for burnout.
Don't take the red eye.
Or the topic.
Yeah.
But having a break and taking time off. I didn't use my camera very much at all. I was just on the phone and the pocket.
Yeah, that's
trying
fair.
to just take it all in.
The best camera is the one you got with you.
Yep.
So then you probably should have set some boundaries with that lady who came up and offered you coffee. If it's 10 p.m. at night,
I should have.
Maybe a good segue for tip number 2.
Yep.
Set some boundaries.
Yes.
Especially with your clients and perhaps with other photographers as well, if you work with them. How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, I think the biggest boundaries for me that I've had to set up is communication boundaries. I think a lot of people don't understand the work that's involved with what we do, especially
100%.
video editing. Photos too, but video editing, like you need.
Hey, let's be honest. It is heaps easier to edit photos than it is to edit videos.
True.
Like
it's more
when
of a
I'm
vibe.
editing an album or whatever, I'm like headphones in, listening to whatever podcast or music I want, and I'm like, this is easy. Video, it's like same thing like 5 times, just trying to match cut on those. Anyway,
it's so true.
But yeah, setting boundaries with communications, because what's the worst case scenario?
People just feeling like they can just communicate with you whenever they want. You will always be receptive. You're always going to answer their emails and messages and phone calls at any time of the day. And they don't realize that you have other clients that you have to do work for. They think it's
just
only
work for them.
And they don't realize that, like, it's weird. Like, you sound so snobby. What's the word? Like, it's like it requires focused work for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And if you're constantly stopping to check your phone and even notifications, bro. I'm in so many WhatsApp groups and I've had to mute so many of them because I would get hundreds of notifications, and they're not, because they're in like work groups, client groups. A lot of them aren't addressed to me.
Yeah, but you just see the notifications.
Every time you just hear the ding, ding, and you're looking over and then you're trying to edit, looking over and trying to edit. You can't do it. One edit that's meant to last an hour lasts you 3 hours, and then you fall behind, and that's where stress comes in.
Yeah.
So it's like...
It's that snowball effect.
Yeah.
Like, it affects everything.
And you can't stop and start work. Like, and it was explained to me when it's trying to explain to the client, if... So let's say you tried to reach out to me by email, text, phone call, and so let's say there were 3 or 4 interactions that we had today that you were trying to reach me. And I've got 10 clients, that's 40 times. Yeah. Right? That you're being interrupted, and they think, oh, it's just a text message, it's just a flick this over to me. When you're working, if you're... what do we call it? A flow. When you're in a flow and you're editing, if I were to stop to answer that text message and just be like, yep, no prob, or email. Say you write the email, yeah, cool, got it, no worries. And then I come back, that might take 2 minutes. Yeah. Then it might take another 3 to 4 minutes to be like, where am I at? Where was I? Oh, yeah, cool, this is where I was at. That could take 4 to 5 minutes. Yeah. 40 times. Yeah. Right? That work is never going to get done. Yep. And then they're on your back because they're like, where's my work? Yeah, exactly. And so the reason your work's late now is because I've had to stop to reply to every single one of you guys. And if you don't set those boundaries, they're going to think, hey, man, I can just talk to this guy whenever I want. He's going to reply straight away. But it's making them understand that. So at the start... How
to communicate that properly with them.
I wouldn't. I'll just get the shits. Yeah. And then I just get upset.
And just ignore them.
Yeah, rather than just explaining that process. Hey, man, like, this is how it works. I really want to get your videos done on time. Yep. I don't want you to get them late. It's the same as everyone else that I'm working with. And once they understand that, it becomes a lot easier. And then you tell them how you want them to communicate to you. Yeah. So, hey, man, if you need anything, just put it all in one email. Everything you need, one email.
Isn't that the dream?
Get back to you. Don't call me, don't text me. And if I don't feel bad. Yeah. The reason is I'm working on your video.
I guess that is also, it comes down to you as the... creative, the photographer or videographer. You have to be you have to build up that rapport as well with your clients so that they can rely on you. Yep. Because it's no good saying that at the start and then you can't deliver. And then it will just amplify the situation where the next time, if you do get to work with them the next time, they'll be like, hey man, you didn't deliver on time last time, so I'm going to be on your back. Whereas like if you can build up that rapport and deliver everything on time and build that trust, then you can be like, hey man, like, when have I ever let you down? When have I never turned up on time? Yep. When have I never not been here when you needed me? Yep. I'm going to be here. There's no stress. Totally. How about we just, let's cool it with the messages and the phone calls and that for a bit and just see what happens. Next thing you know, you get your work back on time, like everything, you're happier. Yep. You're just like, oh, this is great, you know, and you're building that trust. It's hard to do in the beginning, but once you do build that trust with the client, there shouldn't really be a case where they're on your back. Yep. Unless you've picked a poor client, maybe. Yeah, it's true. And it's fair enough. If someone were to work with you the very first time, a lot of people are skeptical. 100%. Maybe they've had a bad experience in the past, or they're trying to fill you out. Yeah.
And that, so like, just do the work, like deliver good work, deliver it on time, and you start building trust. They're like, oh man, yeah, this guy's actually legit.
I think, that's one of the hardest things in this industry as well, because we are creative, and, you know, a lot of creatives are quite flaky. And I've found especially a lot of creatives have ADHD or autism or whatever, like a touch of the tism or whatever. So it's like, you know, you can't really rely on too many of them, just my personal experience. And I've got it too. So it's like, you know, it is what it is. But so it's essentially like dating someone new, right?
Totally.
You've got this person who's been hurt before in the past, by other videographers or photographers. And so you're not only having to build a new relationship with them, but you're also trying to mend the bridges that have been burnt with a past person. I didn't want to say lover just then, but like a past photographer, past videographer. So that is also, that can also be sometimes quite a hurdle to get over. Because not only are you trying to have to sell yourself, but you're trying to have to mend these bridges that were burnt before. It can be tough, but then that comes back with communication with your client. So, but yeah, another good way to deal with burnout is probably, I practice self-care. So, and you do too, and that could be going to the gym. Like we both need to go to the gym. You spend like an hour and a half, an hour. Yeah.
I think it's really important
every day.
So important every day.
Yep. Like whether it's, you know, you're not going to max out every day.
No.
But even just getting like, you know, half an hour, 45 minutes on the stepper for you is like a big thing. You need it.
Yeah. When you don't get it, you don't feel your best.
Yeah.
I think looking after your because a lot of this, the stress and all that, a lot of that's mental stress.
Yeah, definitely.
But looking after your physical health as well
helps. So like, well, you know what it's like where editing in front of a screen for 8 hours most days, our posture is terrible. That's why you got the standing desk.
Yep.
So it's like, if you can alleviate some of those symptoms, go to the gym, fix your posture, stretch, work out, get the blood flowing. It helps. You'll be amazed with how much. Go out and touch grass. I talk to MG all the time. Shout out to MG. She was on the pod earlier. But I'm like, hey, you need to get out and touch grass, because she's always editing. Like, it's the same as us. We're always inside editing.
Yep.
You got to get out, get some sun, do some exercise. It's the best thing for you.
And it can change your day. There's been many times where I've just felt off.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do it. You're like, because you just, man, the last thing I want to do is leave it. But then you get out and you actually start. For me, it's working out.
Yep.
I just get there. I do that first exercise and I just start feeling better immediately.
Yeah.
And I've never regretted it.
Yeah. I've never had a bad workout. Like I've always gone into the gym and I felt like shit and I'm like, I don't want to be here. But I push through.
Yep.
And then for me, it's not the first set. It's probably like, you know, maybe half an hour in and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm glad I'm here. Like I needed this sort of thing.
And you're switching off from work.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's an hour or 2 hours where you're not working, you're not focused on that thing. You can just zen out.
Yeah. For me too, I love going to the movies by myself.
Yep.
Like
same thing.
I will go get a bucket of popcorn, Coke, like I'll veg out on all the snacks and I'll just sit, watch a movie that I've wanted to watch, whether it be like something artsy or I love horror, so a horror movie. And that's the way that I will just switch off, don't have to edit. Even though sometimes if I'm watching a good movie, I'm like, oh, how was that shot? Or like, oh, damn, where did the lighting come from there? Or like, oh, was that CGI? Or anyway, but yeah, a lot of the times it's just like chilling out, vegging out. Like
find the things outside of using a camera and editing that you enjoy. Like for MG, it's pole dancing.
Exactly, yeah. So she does that. I know another one of my mates, Caleb, he does kickboxing. He's really into MMA and stuff, so he does that. A lot, even John, like he does Muay Thai and everything and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So there's, it seems to be a lot of the physical like hobbies, rock climbing especially, bouldering. There's a few mates that do that. Anything physical, if you can do that, like it's night and day difference. If you can find a physical hobby that you love to do and just try and do it up to 3 times a week, I'd say. If you're time poor, up to 3 times a week will help out immensely and it'll take away from that burnout. You'll start to feel better and you'll be like, okay, no, I can do this.
True.
This is good. Yeah.
And you're right, because I get stressed when that gets taken away from me.
Yeah.
When I have to do work and someone asks for something real late or things come up and I don't get that time.
Revisions, yeah.
I start feeling stressed out.
Yeah.
I'm not in a good mood because someone's asked for something and it took away my time.
Your time, yeah.
To go do that. And again, it's creating boundaries.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I will work as much as you want, but give me that hour and a half to go to the gym.
Yeah, do not disturb me between this time and this time.
Exactly. But outside of that, cool, do whatever you want to me.
Yeah. It's so important to set up those boundaries, I think, as a creative as well. Because you can get a few clients who will take advantage of you in that regard. They'll be like, oh, another revision, or maybe, oh, it's just another half hour of your time, like on the shoot or something like that. It's called scope creep, where they'll just like try to take a little bit more each time. And if you don't have those boundaries set in place, and if you're not firm with them, and if you're not like me, if you're, a yes man or whatever, you need to set those boundaries.
Yep. And that's another thing in terms of how things have changed over time, like how I do things now compared to before.
Yep.
Before, you fall for all those things. You fall for the client that's just going to try and milk you for whatever they can get out of you.
Yeah.
Whereas like now it's like, yeah, cool, man, I can do that, but it's going to cost you this much. Or I can do that, but you're not going to get it until this date.
Yeah.
Like you're more in control of the situation and you know how to better handle those things.
And that just comes with experience too.
Yeah.
And like, the more you shoot, the more you deal with different clients, you'll find the ones that you want to shoot with and edit for and that sort of thing, and the ones that you don't. And you'll be able to be more open with communication with the clients that you want, because you'll be like, hey, I'm not going to do that, and or it'll cost you this much, and they'll respect you for it. Like if you do good work, they're not going to want to lose you. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, set those boundaries.
And that's why it's different for everyone, because there are some things that I may really not like doing, and there's a client that might want so much of that, and I'd hate that. Whereas like for someone else, they might love that client because they really want to do that thing.
That could be another point, actually. Not necessarily delegating tasks, but probably delegating tasks, but like, giving away work. Yep. So like say someone comes to me and says, hey, Quinn, like I've got this Porsche 911 that I want photographed, a couple of videos, that sort of thing. Can you help me out? I'll just be like, hey, man, I'm not your guy. Like I can shoot cars, but I'm not good and I don't really like it. But I know, this photographer, this videographer, I can list all these people and just share the work. And then that way it's not more stress on your plate. Sure, it might be like a $1,000 job or something, but do you really need that job? Yeah. Because it invites extra stress. It's time taken away from stuff that you actually want to shoot. And then you're also helping out the community. True. Like you're reaching out to other photographers and videographers that you love, that will do a good job and smash this shoot out of the park. And then they'll be like, oh, thanks for referring me, man. Like that's fucking awesome. And then it goes around. And then, they might get this inquiry, but they're like, hey, I'm not your guy, but I know a guy. Exactly. And it all comes around. Like everyone should have that positive mentality. Yeah, exactly. It's all positive. Not, there shouldn't be a negative in it. It's like, if you don't want to do it, you will know someone who will like smash that job.
And if you take it, you will regret it.
100%.
It sucks your soul.
Yeah.
And you're just counting down, like, when is this going to be over?
Yeah. And you're like, I didn't charge enough for this. And it's you're only in that mentality because you don't like what you're doing. Yep. Because if you like what you're doing, you do it for free.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, say this $1,000 job or whatever, man, I should have charged like $1,800. This is not for me. Whereas the guy that you refer, he's going to do it for the $1,000 or whatever and love it. True. Because he does it every weekend, all the time. That's all he shoots is cars, whatever. Yep. Just loves it. So yeah, I would say delegate tasks. If you don't have a small team, I would say try and get rid of jobs that you don't want to do. Yep.
That was actually, in terms of delegating, that's one of the best things I've done. Yeah. It was scary bringing people on, like creating a bit of a team, I guess. Yeah. But I have a financial lady, Valerie. Yeah. Dude, like it was always scary. I'm like, why should I pay someone to do this when I could easily do it myself? But it was causing stress, like the invoicing, keeping track of everything, GST and taxes. I had no idea about any of this stuff.
Most creatives don't.
Yeah, most don't. Nearly all don't. And you just try and wing it. And in the back of your mind, it's always in the back of your mind. And you just keep pushing it aside. I'm just going to keep working. In the back of your mind, you're just like, oh man, I've still got to do like tax. I got to invoice all these people, bills, and I've got no track of like my incoming, outgoing. Like I don't even know how much I'm making, bro. So and that was me for a very long time.
Yeah.
I hired Valerie. She does everything. I don't even have to look.
Less stress.
Yeah. It took all the stress away. Yeah. All that stress is now gone.
No burnout.
I don't have to invoice anyone. She does all of it. Bills, she tells me this is due here, this is due there. At the end of the month, I get a summary. This is how much you made. These were your expenses. This was your revenue. Great job. Keep going.
Yeah.
She just looks after all of it. Gives me a bill. This is how much GST you have to pay. This is how much everything.
Well, that's something that Yuri was saying when we had him on. The sooner that you can get someone on to do the task that you don't want to do, which for you was admin and all that sort of stuff, the better, because it frees up your time where you can do what you want to do, which is shooting, editing, that sort of thing.
Exactly.
So
less stress.
Yeah, less stress. And I think in my experience with talking to a lot of other business owners, the first thing that they do is get an admin person, someone who can book jobs for them, do all the invoicing, all that sort of stuff. That generally is the first person.
It's always scary, like to hire someone because you're like, oh, I'm losing money.
Yeah, but in the long term, it's like
it's not until you do it. When you do it, you're so happy you did it, but beforehand, it's just scary.
Yeah. Because then you're responsible for another person's paycheck, sort of thing.
Exactly.
You have another person that's working for your company. Like I think a lot of people start out as like personal brands, and then they get big enough where it's like, oh, I'm a small business. You know, even if it's only 2 people, 3 people, that's still a small business.
Yep, true.
But yeah, delegation, hugely important, especially for creative people, because it can be hard.
And you feel like you can do it all.
Yeah,
like,
you do.
I can do it. I can do all that, and you take on all the work, and that's where it starts to really pile up on you.
And your work starts to degrade because you're focusing about all these invoices and whatever. Where it's like, really, you should be focusing about the creative process and doing what you love to do and what you're good at doing. If you were good at doing all the stuff, you'd be an accountant, right? You'd just
be in
go
finance.
and do that. Yeah, you'd be in finance. You'd be a finance bro.
It's true. And you actually said something before about money that brought up a point to me, is that sometimes you feel like you have to do a shit ton of work because you're not charging enough.
Yeah.
Like you need to...
You're not valuing your work.
You're not valuing your work. And in order to account for all the expenses that you have in your life, because you're not charging enough, you have to do so much more work compared to the other guy. Which
again will cause burnout.
Exactly. Because just to live.
Yeah.
Just to live, you're doing all this extra work and it's simply because you're not charging enough.
Yeah.
So, and I think if rather than like going through it, experiencing it, and then realizing, oh shit, I'm overworked, I think if I was to give any sort of advice is to be like, before you even start, figure out where you want to be, how much money you need to make.
Yep.
And then how many hours of work can you do? Like if you've got another job you're trying to do on the side, how many hours do I have?
Yeah, true. Right. Like if you're working a full-time job, 40 hours a week.
Exactly. You don't have many hours.
Yeah.
And then if you want to switch to full-time, it's like, all right, what's the equivalent of what I'm making now? How much do I need to make to live comfortably, to pay all the bills? And then reverse engineer all of it. Okay, cool. If I need to make this much money to be comfortable, how many hours do I have? And then it's real easy to come up with your pricing, because then it's like, all right, cool. I need X amount of clients. If I charge them this much, that's going to cover everything. And you'll know beforehand, rather than just coming up with a number and then realizing, fuck, like I need to work all the time.
Yeah.
And if I don't, I'm going to be stressed because I'm not going to be making enough money.
Taking on those small jobs.
Yeah. And sometimes it's having the confidence, like, no, man, I'm really good. I need to charge more. And then rather than working with fucking 30 clients, you're working with 10, like you made that point the other week. You can work with 10 or 6 and make the same amount of money, and you don't have to answer to all these people.
Yeah. I think that it's a tough thing too, because you also have to look at your work objectively and be like, is this actually worth what I'm charging? Like, are people going to pay for this service, sort of thing? A lot of the time,
if you've got 50 clients,
yeah,
maybe you're too cheap.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean? Like maybe everyone's coming to me because I'm not charging anything.
It's not necessarily your work; it's your price. So you need to swap that around and be like, okay, like if I up my prices, will I still get the clients coming in?
And the clients that are coming to you for price are usually the hardest ones to work with.
Oh, bro, they're so shit.
Yeah.
It's really annoying too, because they're the ones that always have revision upon revision upon revision. That's where contracts come in really handy. They're always pedantic. It's like, hey, we have this budget. It's $1,200 for a 10-hour shoot. We want this, this, and this, and you're like, oh, okay, that doesn't cover anything. But and then it's like the next day, hey man, how's the edit going? Or like that week, hey man, when can we expect the edit, sort of thing. Like, and that's where communication, delegation, that sort of thing comes in. Setting those boundaries, everything that we've just talked about, to stop burnout.
It's true. I'll say it.
I'll say it. Oh shit.
I found, like, just from experience, there are clients that, not that you want to avoid, but you need to be aware of. The guys that are literally just starting a business, like they're straight fresh.
Yeah.
They've got nothing else to do. Like, they haven't got things going on. They're going to be on your back the most because they haven't got shit to do.
Yeah.
You're the only guy that they've hit up because they want these videos to start their content, right?
Yep.
If they've got nothing else to do, they're going to have, they've got time to message you and be on your back, and they want the videos, and they're going to be really hard to work with. Whereas, like, there are other clients that we work with who have a lot going on. They're well established, they're bigger businesses. They don't have time to be like on your back because they're too busy doing other shit. Like they're running a business.
Yeah.
They've got staff and they're doing
multi-million-dollar businesses.
They're not going to be on your back. Yeah. They trust you, they hire you, and they trust you to do the work. Just do the work and I'll be happy.
That's what they hired you for, your creative vision.
Yeah.
You take care of all the videos so I don't have to worry about it. And they pay you for it.
Exactly.
Whereas, as you say, the people who are just starting or the small businesses that don't have much going on, they're going to be like, oh, can we change this or this,
They're all over it.
That's where you should bring in a fee where it's like, hey, I will just give you the camera and you can shoot it all and then I'll edit it. Easy.
Yeah, it's true.
And then that way,
two very completely different clients.
Yeah, definitely.
So like no client's the same. And when you understand that, like again, it comes with like experience.
Yeah.
You start to realize, okay, I need to go for this type of client and I need to try to avoid that kind of client.
Yeah.
Especially because for your own stress and your own well-being.
Yeah, because then this game is all about longevity. Like, how long can you do this?
Yep.
How long do you want to be in this industry? If you're dealing with those clients, you're not going to last. Like, jinx, you owe me Coke. But yeah, it's really good advice.
Yeah, and from hanging out with the guys that I work with, something that's come up a lot is a few times now is everyone has like their own way of like explaining it, but your life is usually separated within 3 different buckets.
Yep.
And the game is trying to balance out those 3 buckets.
Yeah, okay.
And when one is empty, you start feeling unhappy. Yep. And it was your health, your finances or your career, and your relationships.
Yep.
If you can balance those 3 out, you're more than likely going to be very happy. And if you can enjoy that process, some people have a 4th where it's like fun.
Yep.
But if you're having fun doing whatever you're doing, then that's not really a bucket.
Yeah.
Right. But a lot of people, it's like they've put, which is what I did, you put all your time into your career. You fill that bucket up so much. And for me, my relationship bucket was empty.
Yep.
Like I was in a relationship forever. I didn't hang out with anyone. All my mates disappeared, but that was my fault because I didn't pay attention to that bucket. Same as health. There have been times where I didn't work out. I didn't go to the gym, and then that made me unhappy. So it's like, how do I figure out a way, or how do I, not neglect those things? So for us, we've already spoken, like, you need to look after your health. Like that bucket needs to be taken care of.
Yep.
If your finances aren't there, you're going to have to keep working so much to fill that up. And same as your relationship, like you can, like editing, but our career can get super lonely.
Oh yeah.
And you can very easily neglect that bucket because you spend so much time just in your apartment editing. You can do it forever.
Yeah.
And you just lose all your relationships. Like you're just not good at it. And figuring that out the best way you can, for everyone it's going to be different, is probably, like for me, what I found, paying attention to those 3 things is when I'm the happiest.
Yeah, definitely. And it'll help with burnout. Because you won't get it.
Yeah. But at the time the stress comes because one's being neglected.
Yeah.
Like now, like if I don't go to the gym for ages, I start getting the shits.
Yeah. And then that takes into your relationships. It takes into your work.
Exactly.
Another thing that we were saying that helps with like burnout or not having burnout is talking to other photographers and videographers, you know, opening up that dialogue because they're going through it too. Like we all have similar,
yes,
you know, it's just like if you can reach out and talk to, because I talk to have a plethora of other videographers
you do,
and photographers.
I've seen you hang out with them,
hang
and
out
stuff.
with all
you
of
do a
them,
really
just
good
because
job
we're
of that.
trying to, you know, we're all in this same industry and we're trying to build this community. It's good just to talk about other people's experiences, and for the most part, they're generally the same.
Yeah, that's true. It makes you feel better because you're like, oh, okay, this is normal.
Yeah, I'm not the only one going through it. So yeah, if you can, as you just said before, this industry can be quite lonely. For the most part, you're going to be doing everything yourself. But if you can, you know, reach out to other creatives, and you don't have to be mates or you don't have to hang out all the time. But every now and then, just be like, oh, hey man, love what you're doing, or you know, oh, that's sick, or whatever. It's like, oh, okay, we're friendly to one another, and then you can be like, hey, have you ever dealt with this? Like, I've had this, you know, client on my back and whatever. Open up that dialogue, and they're like, oh yeah, man, I went through that like a few years ago. This is what I did to, you know, counteract that sort of thing. Trying to find your community in your space, it helps a lot, especially with burnout.
That's so true.
Other people with lived experiences, like, you know,
that's what I suck at.
Yeah, but you're always working, bro.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I mean. I got to pay more attention to it. It's whatever you prioritize.
You're starting. You got the girlfriend now, so you're like,
yeah, we get
you just got on a
I have one relationship.
Yeah, you're doing well. You're doing well.
And we hang out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we hang out all the time.
Too.
So it's like you got two relationships there. You're building them up slowly.
Yeah.
That bucket's getting full, bro. Soon it'll be overflowing.
Just droplets.
Yeah. But slow burn is a good burn. You don't want to be that Roman candle. You know, burn brightly. I would say another. I actually don't know what. I think we're up to step 5?
Bro, there's so many.
There's so many that you could do. But another one would be personal projects or passion projects.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Don't forget about those.
True, so true.
So one thing that I love to do, and I've got to do it more. I'm doing another one tomorrow after. Oh, can I say that? Yeah, I can, because it will come out after. So I've got a surprise proposal tomorrow at the Harbour Bridge.
Hell yeah.
So shooting that, so that'll be good. And then after that, I'm going to go and do like a street shoot. Because for me, I love street photography. Nice. That's what I love shooting. And that's what helps me keep burnout away. It's like I'll go out, shoot street photos, because it's not like weddings, it's not real estate, it's not commercial work. It's just what I love to do. And that helps me de-stress. And I still am using my camera, and I'm still, you know, using my craft. So the skills aren't going. Because once you stop it, once you lose, like once you stop doing it, you lose the skills.
Yep. Like
it's crazy how quickly, if you stop shooting for a while, you pick up your camera and you're like, oh shit, what do I do with this? Yep. You know? So yeah, find personal projects or passion projects that you can shoot often. So that you don't lose the love, because it becomes work.
So true. I don't think people realize how important that is. Like that is so important, because so many people think, oh, like I've got this paid job, like I've got all these other jobs that I can do. So that gets pushed to the side because I'm not getting paid for it.
Yeah.
But when you think about longevity, like and doing it for a really long time, that stuff's so important, because it's the joy, and it's the trying new shit and learning new things, not having expectations from anyone else. Like you can try all those cool things knowing that like it's your project. You can do whatever you want with it, and you love it, you enjoy it, you realize why you got into it in the first place.
Yeah.
And if you don't make time for that, even though you're not getting paid for it, you're not going to last, because you're just going to be doing all this work for everyone else. I know so many people, and they're like, I'm doing all this work for everyone else. Like I'm doing all their content. I'm not doing anything for me.
Yeah.
And I'm exactly the same. I say the same thing all the time. If you don't do those things, like if you don't do your own projects, you start to regret everything. Like you start to feel like you're just against everyone else.
Burnt out.
Yeah, you're feeling burnt out.
Yeah.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't think it's important because it's like fun and you don't get paid for it. But it's so important. It's so important if you want to do it for a really long time.
Yeah, definitely. And then, you know, once you start to do what you love, like, street photography or whatever, for me, just going on my own experiences, it opens up like collaborations in the future as well. So if people are always seeing your stuff and they can tell that you love it or whatever, they'll be like, oh, hey man, can we go for a shoot sometime?
Opportunities.
Creates
sure.
opportunities.
Yep.
Staves off burnout, opens up opportunities.
And people start seeing like your own style. When you're doing work only for clients, even if you're posting it, it is your work, but at the same time, there's so much input from all these people that it's not 100% your work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they've had an input in so many things with revisions and everything. When you start doing your own work, people start realizing, oh, that's his work.
Yeah.
I want that.
That's a Quinn shot.
That's a Quinn shot.
Yeah.
And that's what I want.
Yeah.
And then you're going to start getting more opportunities based on that. So I think, hell yeah. Massive.
And then, it attracts those clients who want your style.
Exactly.
And then you can get rid of the other clients who are, maybe a little bit more demanding and don't necessarily want you for your style, but just so that you can create for them.
There's so many times you come up with a vid and you look at it and you're like, I would not have made, if this was up to me, it would not look anything like this.
Yeah.
And you just do it because you're getting paid for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's part of it, but
yeah, it's a big part of it, but it's like at the end of the day,
it's perfect when you find clients that you can collaborate and you're like, I love this, and so do they.
Yeah, that's always a great feeling.
Yes.
When they're like, fucking love it. Cool, post it.
And then they start trusting you more and they're like, dude, go for it.
Yeah, do whatever. Do whatever. Yeah.
They're the best clients to have. It's good. It's really good. And sometimes you were saying something earlier as well where you were talking about speaking to other people and knowing like, okay, cool, like other people are feeling this too, and sometimes it's hard. I don't know if I know that burnout's real.
Yeah.
And times it gets hard and you feel overwhelmed and you feel stressed, and like that's not cool, and you want to be able to manage it the best way you can. But
drugs and alcohol. Oh yeah. Let's go.
At the same time, there have been times where shit's been like really hard. Like I've had like all this shit going on, and in my I stop and I have a conversation with myself, and I'm just like, it's not meant to be easy. Like it's meant to be hard.
If it was easy, everyone would do it.
Everyone would do it. And it's like the reason I'm where I am now is because I'm willing to do all this hard shit that most people would quit. Most people would feel burnt out right now and fuck off and go do their old job.
Yep.
But I'm not going to do that. And that's the reason why I am where I am.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just toughening up, suck it up a little bit. And a lot of the time I've found that it's patches. It's like, all right, let me just get through this. This hard patch is going to end, and then I can reassess after this. So I'm just going to like knuckle down, work hard, get all this shit out of the way, and then I can look back and be like, okay, how do I got out of it. How do I not get back into that situation again? Yeah. So it is going to get hard. And sometimes like you just got to look at it and be like, come on, man, like I can do this. But it's hard sometimes. Maybe that would be a good point. Get organized. It is. 100% it is. A lot of it is being organized. Yeah. It's good point. In terms of being organized to avoid burnout and stress, they're going to be cool with me saying it. I've worked with Titan forever, for years now, right? And we make there's a lot of things always going on. They've got retreats, challenges, the gym, the podcast. Like there's so much going on all the time. Yep. And there have been times where I've gotten really stressed out just because things just haven't been organized properly. Yeah. The biggest example I can think of is earlier in the year, like they run these challenges, 8-week challenges, and they need content to promote them. So every few months they start promoting the challenge to try and sign people up to do it. And
100 project.
The 100 project.
Version 2 has already started?
Is coming up.
Coming up.
Yeah, they're starting to promote it now. Whereas in the past, I think it was like Summer Shred something, right? Yep. We know about it for months. And then they had this marketing guy who hits me up on... It would have been like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And he's like, Kenny, we need like these 4 videos done and I need them by Friday so that we can start creating ads for this challenge. And I'm like, Friday? I'm like, bro, it's 2 days. Like we haven't even shot it. Like I've got other clients to work for. Bro, I lost it. I had the shits, man. I was just like, we have all known about this for months. Yeah. Why are you telling me 2 days before we're going to make the ads? Yeah. We haven't even shot it yet. And I was like, I got upset. But then again, after the fact, like, did it? We're just like, fuck it. All right, shot it, done. Here you go. Everything's done. That's just how I think. But then afterwards, I look back, no joke, yesterday, I was on the phone to Metz, the owner of the gym. Yeah. And I was like, so then you got to put it on yourself. It's like, how can I avoid that from happening again? And yesterday I was like, Mets, can I get a list of everything you need? Because next month I'm going to the States for 2 weeks and then Thailand for a week. Like, I'm not around. We can't have that happen again. And there's a challenge happening at the end of October. Yep. Plus there's the retreat, which is the end of October as well. And I'm like, dude, all that content, we know those dates today.
Yeah.
So like, make me a list of everything you want and let's start doing it now.
Yeah.
And he was
pre-production.
Like, exactly. Yeah. And he was like, cool. So then he hit up Tanny, the marketing chick, and I got a list of all the videos, all the ads they want for the challenges and the retreats that are happening at the end of October. It's 2 months away. We're going to start shooting it tomorrow. No, Monday. Right. And that's sometimes it's like taking ownership. Yeah. Like take control of the situation. It's no point getting mad, especially here, because these guys have other things to do as well, right? They're not only thinking of, oh, what's Kenny's workload? Like they're not. They've got
they're not thinking about you at all.
This gym's massive. Yeah. They've got a podcaster and Mets has staff and a retreat, like all these other things going on. He's not going to be sitting there thinking about me.
Yeah.
So it's like take ownership of the situation and your client. Tell them, hey, I've got a big month coming up. Let's sort this out now so that we don't have to stress out. Like not just me, but all you guys. And I did that. I'd like just take ownership of the whole situation. I'm the dude. I'm the guy that makes the edits. Make it easier for everyone. Literally have that. We're going to start shooting on Monday. It's going to be done 2 months before they need it.
Yeah.
And it saves stress and burnout. And when I did it the wrong way, I learned from experience. Because back then I just got the shits and just yelled at everyone.
Yeah.
Which isn't the right way to go about it. And it just elevated stress. And then that was a shit period.
Well, yeah. A guy that I used to work for runs like a couple of multi-million-dollar businesses, big real estate guy. He gives so much good advice, but one thing that he would always like harp on us was like, you get what you tolerate. So that, like doing real estate or whatever, all the agents want it the next day or like within 24 hours or whatever. And there was like a stipulation in the contract that like agents aren't supposed to call or contact the videographers or photographers. It's meant to be done through a girl, Caitlin. She's great. So, you know, once I started to, because I knew a couple of them because I'd shot their engagements and some other stuff. Once I started to answer their calls and then answer their messages, they were just calling me all the time. Bro. Yeah, exactly. But it's because I didn't set up those boundaries and just say, hey man, like don't talk to me. Everything goes through Caitlin, sort of thing. And then you just get burnout and then you get stressed because they're constantly like, hey, you know, this floor plan's wrong, or, you know, hey, you got to go back and do this, or blah, 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 whatever. And then it's like, okay, you got to take ownership of that and be like, hey man, like don't contact me or whatever, like set up those boundaries, sort of thing. Because you get burnt out and you're just like, oh man, everyone's chasing me, like, you know, anyway.
True. And it comes back to just being well organized.
Yeah, it comes back to organization.
And that was definitely, and still is, one of my weaknesses.
Well, I mean, this is just me, but I've found that like a lot of guys who are in this industry are shit at organizing stuff. Girls, really good. Kill it. True. Like they just can plan everything out and they'll have all their spreadsheets and whatever. Apart from skill. Actually Jake. Jake is so good. He's lost like 45 kilos this year, and he's got Excel spreadsheets upon Excel spreadsheets of all his diet plan, like everything he's eat, all his calories in and out. Anyway, he's great at organizing stuff. But in my experience, guys, we're pretty shit.
It's a good idea. That Adrian Per, you know, that massive creator?
No idea. Who's that?
You
do I?
Him. Yeah, man.
What's he?
American
What's he?
Dude,
Shit?
like Asian looking dude, like chubby guy. But
Adrian. All right, I'll search him up. I know an Adrian who's Asian and is a creator.
You know, as soon as you see him, you'll know him. He hangs out with, he's big time.
Okay.
Anyway, over the last few months, he's always brought up his way of organizing his time. He calls it time blocking.
Yes, yep.
And he'll literally, in his calendar, he'll block out time for everything.
Adrian Per?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yeah. That guy, yeah.
Right?
The fonts guy.
Yep. And he constantly, I've seen like 5 clips of him talking about this, but he calls it time blocking. Yep. And he'll literally, his calendar will be, he'll put time aside for absolutely everything.
Yep.
If a video needs to be done, it's got to be done within this time and this time with his girlfriend, time for the gym, time for everything. is blocked out. So I'm like, I'm doing nothing except that.
Yeah, that was my biggest weakness at the real estate company. I had my Google Calendar or whatever, and then I just wouldn't block out time. And then next minute it's filled with like a dusk shoot, or it's filled with like, okay, you got to go here at 10 a.m., then at 12 a.m., then at 12 p.m. And it's like, oh, wait a second, I have no time. When am I going to edit all this? And everyone was like, you need to block out your time. And I was just like, I didn't do it. I couldn't.
And
I didn't do it enough. True. I didn't do it enough. And the editing especially.
Blocking out time for that. I don't do it. I still don't.
Well, you got to, bro.
Yeah,
you
I
got
know.
to.
Because the shoot gets booked.
Yeah, exactly.
The shoot get booked and you're like, okay, I have to be here from this time to this time. But then the editing, I'm just like, okay, cool. I'm just going to do that throughout the week.
Yeah, exactly.
Like giving a time is also important. Like if you tell someone
a deadline.
Yeah. It's like the what I spoke to you before. I'm like, if you want this done, you're not going to get it done for a month.
Yeah.
That takes away a lot of stress.
Sometimes they're cool with that. Sometimes they're not.
But I'm actually not cool with that.
Because then it's hanging around.
Yeah. I want things done. Like I give dates. Like I want this done now.
Yeah.
When we did that job with the graffiti guys, with BURNOUT.
Yeah.
And he was like, bro, take as long as you want.
And
take weeks. And I said, no, bro.
Yeah,
like I need this done. I don't want this hanging out.
Yeah, exactly.
And I regretted it, but no, I didn't. But I was like, next Wednesday, it has to be done. I gave him the date. So it was on me. And then Wednesday came and I was like, fuck, man. But once it's done, like you want that done. You don't want 10, 20 jobs hanging around.
That's why it's tough with like wedding stuff, right? Especially if you're a bigger business or if you're a bigger company, wedding company or whatever, you'll have these deadlines which or deliverables within like 3 months or 6 months sort of thing. And then the deadline comes and it's just like, oh shit, we haven't had that. And you're constantly thinking about the next album, like, oh, okay, Sarah and James is like due thing, but I haven't even done Adrian and Kenny yet, sort of thing. Like it's you got to knock them out. And
the
set
dates
those
are really
deadlines,
important,
mainly for yourself.
Yep.
So that you do it and stick to it. Yeah.
I've got a lot of.
Otherwise, you'll get burnt out.
It's true. I've got a lot of clients and I'm just like, whenever we're going back and forth trying to decide on when they're going to get it, I'm like, just tell me your day. Like, I need to come up with rules.
Yeah.
On like when, how long, how far. But as long as I have a date in my head, I'll get it done.
Yeah.
Which is weird. You know how people would say, like, just bring the deadline sooner and you'll get shit done. You'll be more efficient. Have you heard people say that?
Yeah.
Like using deadlines to your advantage, because if you push that deadline to a month, you're going to do it in a month.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've always spoken to clients, like, give me a date. Like, when do you want it done by? And now I know it's locked. Like you are not going to get it past that date.
Yeah.
And I'll make it happen. And then it's just me managing, not putting too many steps before.
It also creates like a really great customer experience because you're hitting those deadlines.
Yep.
Then it creates trust. Then it creates less burnout because the client's not on you all the time. So if you can keep that return client sort of thing, like it just everything helps. You're more organized. Everything is. Yeah.
It is. It's organizing, and a lot of it's self-awareness. Like knowing what you're not good at. Like I knew, I was like, all right, I need to get better at this. Or I need to delegate. I need to get someone else to do this. Or I need to get better at this skill. I need to organize better. I need to communicate better.
Yeah.
Or with the finance stuff, I'm not even going to try to get good at this. I'm going to get someone else to do it.
Get someone else.
But you don't know that unless, because a lot of people just feel overwhelmed, burnt out, and they quit. And that happens a lot. They're just like, this is too much. This isn't what I thought. This isn't what I signed up for. And you need to realize, like, understand, especially when you start out, it's like, understand what the lifestyle is going to be like. If I reach my goal, you're probably going to have to give up certain things.
Yeah.
We're doing this podcast on the weekends. So we're giving up that time. So it's like, are you willing to give up that time? How many hours is it going to take? Yeah. And then knowing, because then a lot of people don't do that. They get into it and they're like, oh, I hate this. I hate everything about this. And they don't assess enough. Sometimes it's not that you hate, like you love using a camera. Yeah. So like, why quit? It's just,
you just might hate editing.
Exactly.
So then just,
find
Philippines,
other ways to,
Vietnam,
find other ways to do it. And you don't, unless you take time to like self-reflect and assess, all right, what is it that's stressing me out? What do I need to communicate better? Do I need to just be better organized? I sucked at organizing shit. Am I taking on too much work? Yeah. Like you said, I need to learn to say no. I can't do it. And it's uncomfortable. It's same as me, man. I can't say no either. And you feel so, when you're face to face to someone, just being able to say no.
It's the same thing as like when you need people to critique your work as well. It's very uncomfortable, especially as a creative. You want everyone to be like, oh, that was fucking amazing. Oh, that's such a great edit or whatever. But it's in the same vein as you need to be, you need to hold yourself accountable and be like, yes, these are the chinks in my armor. This is what I'm not good at. This is what I'm great at. I'm going to continue to do this and delegate everything else, sort of thing. But it's very hard to do. But the quicker you do it, the better you'll get.
Yep.
And the more that you'll continue to do it. Because remember, it's about longevity. You want to, if you want to do this, you want to do it for a long period of time. So yeah, have those uncomfortable conversations with yourself and realize what you do want to do and what you don't.
And know that it takes time.
Yeah.
Like it's going to take time. Some people just want to get there so soon.
Like I could not imagine, bro, I just hit the mic because I'm fucking so excited. But like me in 2020, looking at where I am now compared to where I was in 2020, holy shit.
Yep.
Like night and day. No, oh bro, no idea. But it's just, it takes time. Like, and it's not, for some people it might happen overnight.
Yep. But it's rare. They're the outliers. Bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's not everyone.
Yep.
But it's like, if you put in the work and you constantly try to strive to get better, you're going to be in this industry for a long time and you will have fun and you'll continue to grow and make more money and anyway.
And also prepping for that. Like if you understand it's going to take time, even at the beginning, say you have another job, and I think especially when you're making the switch, like, okay, I'm going to go all in. You may not make money for like 3 to 6 months.
Easy.
So then it's like, do I have enough runway to be able to do that? Have I saved up enough money to, because it may not be that way, but you think, okay, worst case, it may be 6 months until I start seeing anything. Am I able to do that?
Yeah.
And you prep for it, and it saves you so much stress to just understand, okay, this isn't going to happen overnight. I think my work's awesome, and this is like, I'm going to blow up straight away. Nothing happens for 6 to 12 months and then you quit. I think that happens to a lot of people. Just understand, definitely. Like it's going to take time. We can give you all the advice, but a lot of the times you just have to go through it and figure it out as you go. Like you can save time by navigating and understanding and listening to other people, but sometimes, man, you just have to go through it.
You have to put in the work. Lived experience.
The hours, man, you can read all the books in the world.
Yeah.
Someone else that's just out there doing it is probably going to get there sooner.
I have said yes to so many jobs where I knew I would never get that opportunity unless I said yes to get that experience. To be like,
True.
Should I
do it?
So I'd never shot a wedding by myself for video, and I said yes to this company. Probably shouldn't. Looking back at it, I still have no hate towards those guys. Like their stuff is amazing. And I tried to do the best that I could, but this fucking DJ fucked me up anyway. This sound, anyway, it was a huge schmozzle. But I knew, because usually I'm used to like 3-man teams or whatever. Yeah. Like I'm used to being a cog in a little wheel in a big cog or whatever. I don't know what the saying is, but it's like I'm used to being as part of a team. And like I was meant to shoot photo, which I'm fine with photo. I love shooting photo. Wedding photo photography, I'm all over that. I'm fine with that. But videography, I was like very, very green. Hadn't really done it much. I knew what to expect because I'd done so many weddings or whatever, but I'd never shot one myself. And I just said yes because I'm like, cool, I'll do it. It'll be a great learning experience, and I'll probably get some great shots, and it'll be a fun day. It was a great day, but it was just, there were so many things that messed up because I had never shot one myself and didn't know that, hey, you need to do this or you need to do this, put this in place so this doesn't happen, that sort of thing. It's like so many things went wrong, but it's like you'll never get that experience, and you can't pay for that experience sort of thing.
So true.
Yeah, it was great. Like I fucking loved it. But it was just, some stuff happened that if I had more experience, it wouldn't have happened. Sort of thing, and everyone would have been happier.
But you learn so much faster.
Exactly.
From that.
Yeah. You learn so much from you learn so much more from your losses than your wins. Like, yeah, it's the same thing. We always come back to it. It's like, you do this edit or whatever, or you put out a great picture or something, and everyone's like, oh yeah, fire emojis, like that's great. It's like, okay, cool. I'm not going to learn from that. Critique it a bit, give me something. Like are the skin tones good, or like, you know, what do you like about the edit, or you know, what don't you like, that sort of thing. Give me something so that I can learn and get better, because that's all I want to do. I want to get better, and I want to constantly get better until I look at my stuff and I'm like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. You know, that's
yeah, man.
You want to get to that level. You're not going to get to that level if everyone's just around you like a yes man saying like, yeah, that's really good. Oh yeah, but then they're not hiring you for their weddings, or you know, there's a miscommunication where it's like everyone's saying your stuff is so good, but they're not referring you or they're not hiring you. Like, you know.
Yep. But it's true, man. You got to throw yourself like into the fire, like do that hard stuff. And he did. Like, it's going back to what we were saying before. Like, sometimes it's like, this is going to suck.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, like, this is not going to be fun, but I'm going to learn so much from this.
Yeah.
And I just need to suck it up.
Yeah.
And to suck it up, I need to do this. I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to learn. So you would have learned so much from that you wouldn't have any other way.
Yeah,
exactly. And some
exactly.
people are too scared to try shit because they're like, they know that, like, they just stick to what they know.
Yeah, if everything goes right, you're not going to learn. But so much went wrong on that particular day where I was like, holy shit, okay. So I bought some gear and made sure that stuff wouldn't ever happen like that again.
But people try to avoid those feelings. Like they avoid the feelings of critique. Yeah. I don't want to be critiqued because it doesn't feel nice.
Makes me feel bad.
Yeah.
But it's like, how are you going to grow?
Exactly. But even with some stress is good.
Yeah.
Like it means you're pushing yourself. You're stretching yourself a little bit.
It's like when you go to the gym, right? You put stress on your muscles, you get stronger, fister.
Yeah, exactly. So
faster.
Yeah, but it's not all bad. It's not always bad to feel stressed and to feel pushed and stretched. Like, it's a good thing. You're going to learn so much more rather than just always being comfortable and not trying anything. And
what's that quote?
Avoiding critique.
The greatness that you're trying to achieve is in the work that you're avoiding, or something like that.
Probably. That sounds right.
I can't remember the quote, but it's like, if you're always comfortable and you're always just doing the safe option, you're not going to grow and you're not going to get better.
Yeah.
You need to get out of your comfort zone, especially as a creative, so that you grow.
True.
So that you can make more money.
Yeah.
So that you can do it for longer.
Exactly.
Which is what we're all about, longevity.
See, that's why I think burnout isn't always burnout.
Yeah. You need to have self-awareness enough to be like, hey, I'm not burnt out. I just don't like this particular job or this client
this
or
feeling
whatever.
Isn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like realistically, burnout is probably only after maybe like if you're doing 6 months of everyday work, late nights, early mornings, that sort of thing, and you get to a point where you're just like, okay, I think I can't do anything else, or you're not getting out of bed or whatever, or that sort of thing. You're shutting off your friends and family, or you're not doing, you're not filling up those buckets.
Yep.
You're only focusing on the work thing. Then probably, it could be a bit of burnout.
Yep. And I think when you don't see an end point, like you've put yourself in a system and you don't see an end to this.
Yeah.
At all, you're just like, oh damn, I'm not charging. I've got all these, and this is never going to end unless I do something about it. And when you can't figure that out, a lot of times, like, I can't figure out how to do this shit, and then they bounce.
Yeah. Some people are just soft, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. I know one person, I won't say their name, but they're very, 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 very privileged in a sense of that they've never had any other job except for videographer, editor. So they don't know what it's like to work retail. They don't know what it's like to work like a 9 to 5 in a regular job. They don't know how shit it is out there to have any other job. They've never had that experience. So when they start to get like a little bit antsy and they're just like, kind of hate this or whatever, I just like smack them. Like, hey man, wake up to yourself. Like you're literally living so many other people's dreams because you get to do this full time and you get to make a living off this. Like, so I agree. Some people are just a bit soft. That's all.
Yeah, but it's because they've never experienced the opposite.
Yeah.
And I think it's important. You hear a lot of people that do really, really well, they come from like a shit place.
Yeah, because they never want to go back there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I was early 20s, first 5 years of being a PT, broke as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Like broke. Like couldn't go out and was like telling lies. I was like, yeah, man, I'm busy. We can't hang out this weekend because I've got other things on. Bro, I'm in my room because I got nothing. And that
I'm eating ice for dinner.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like it was bad.
I love the
bad.
mouthfeel.
Yeah, and it was like, I never want to feel this way again. Like ever.
Well, so, yeah, I mean, it's some people that's a driver, and for other people's, like, it's not. But unless you have that experience, that lived experience, it is hard to shake people and be like, hey, wake up to yourself. Like, you're living the dream.
Yeah.
This could all go away tomorrow, and you could be on Centrelink or whatever, or you know, going for the job hunt. I've got a mate, Mikey, who's like, he loves his life because he worked at ANZ. Oh, actually, I don't know whether I should say it, but anyway, yeah, he worked at ANZ for the longest time as a bank teller. Hated it, absolutely hated it. And then, you know, this opportunity came up where he could become a real estate videographer, photographer, that sort of thing. And he jumped at it, and he has never looked back. Exactly. He has loved his life ever since. Even on his hardest days, when the stress is up to the roof and he's got deadlines, whatever, he is the most chill guy. And he is like the most happiest guy I've ever met, where he just loves life, and he's like, yeah, man, it's cool. Like, it'll get done. Because he knows, like, the alternative. He's just like, yeah, I'm never fucking going back to this shithole.
Better than that.
I'm doing, So.
That's true. It's so real.
Yeah.
It's so real. You go, like, if you experience that, it's like.
Never want to go back.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what happens. I'm not going back to that. And what I have now is better than what I had.
Yeah. If you're not where you are, like, that should be the most motivation you'll ever need. Like, if you're not where you want to be already, just fucking work. Like, pull the finger out. Have a go.
Yep.
What are you doing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sitting there and, like, having to cry about it isn't going to get you there.
Yeah. Like, are you really burnt out, or are you just like, anyway.
Yeah.
We sort of went on a tangent there.
Yeah, that's all right. I get like that too.
Yeah.
I like, the work isn't going to get done by sitting around
moping about it. Yeah. Just do the work.
Yeah, and a lot of times I'm like, man, I put myself in this situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just work your way out of it.
I said yes to this job. I've got to finish it.
Yeah.
Like,
almost 100% of the time, it's like, I put myself here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If I did something different, I would not be like, I could have avoided this if I had done something. Like, no one forced me to do any of this shit.
Yeah, no one held the gun to your head. So. Anyway. I think that was pretty good.
Yeah.
There's some great takeaways there for burnout, how to deal with it.
I agree.
How to actually distinguish whether or not you're actually in burnout, or whether or not you just need to look at some other systems. And
there's plenty. I think, as we spoke from experience, like, we really went through this shit. And that's what we learned. Like, for everyone, it's going to be different. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
But they're definitely the biggest takeaways I've had from, feeling it.
Yeah, burnout is real. It does happen, especially to creatives, but it's just managing your stress, your stresses. So
do work that you enjoy.
Yep.
I think for the most part,
communicate with clients.
We're good at that. I think most of the work that we're doing now is enjoyable, and we're aware of the ones that aren't.
Yeah. That's another thing too. Trust your gut. Like, if something comes up.
How many times?
Oh, so many times.
It's like, I fucking knew.
Yeah.
I knew.
Something's off about this. Yeah. Trust your gut.
Every time.
Yeah, trust your gut, because.
How weird is that?
It's so weird, but it's like, like 90% of the times
you can
I've
feel
been like, okay, yeah, shit, I should have said, like, I should have trusted my gut.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
But it's
I don't
so
know what
true.
it is, but it's just like crazy how accurate your gut is.
Yeah.
That feeling.
It starts unfolding. You're like, it's happening.
You get the chill, and you're like, something, alarm bells.
Yep.
You know,
and then
just
you
like dating,
back.
you're looking for those red flags.
Yep. I fucking knew.
And it's like, you should have just said, hey, not for me, or no, I think we're fine here. I'm gonna go this way.
True.
Yeah,
that's great. I think, because we're not going to get. I don't think we're going to have many more chances to do this. I want to plug the podcast studio.
Do it.
Hire people wanting to hire this space.
Yep.
The spaces are ridiculously limited right now.
Yeah.
And
especially coming up to October.
Yeah. Well, just lately, since we've started promoting it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, whenever I hear people say, like, spots are, like, super limited, I'm always like, you're just saying that. Like, I know it's a sales skill, but it's, like, for real. Like, we've got...
Bro, I'm tired the amount of podcasts that I've edited.
Exactly. And we've got more coming.
Yeah.
Dude, can we name them? I'm fucking... Yeah.
No.
What?
No,
yeah, they're all here.
Nah.
Why?
Oh yeah, we can't. Oh yeah,
I'm going to post them anyway. We got the Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys.
So we got the Lost Boys, Trent Merrin, Jake Marchetto. What have we got? We got the Lost Boys.
Locate, Negotiate.
Impact Policy.
Just had Mark Burris on.
Burris. We've got a new tech podcast starting in a couple of weeks. I don't know if I told you about that.
Impact Policy.
We got the Elevate podcast, the biggest one.
Yeah.
We've got our own.
Yeah.
And there's 7 days in a week, and there's only 2 of us.
Yeah, true.
Right? And
we can only do so much.
We also run a freaking content agency.
Yeah.
This isn't our main gig.
We do a lot.
We make content for other businesses.
We actually do a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about it.
We do heaps.
Yeah.
So and that's not a flex. That's just to prove that there literally are limited spots. We can't take many more.
Yeah.
And this is the best location. And the thing is, a lot of these guys, this is probably something I probably... There's a lot of things that we probably shouldn't say, but a lot of
we can edit it out.
Yeah, a lot of these guys have left a podcast studio that they've been in to come to us because they've come here, they've seen the space, they love working with us.
Ease of use, convenience.
The people that they're working with, the work that they're getting, the gear that's here. People are leaving where they're at to come and do their podcast here. And I think that says a lot.
Yeah. Plus the location is great.
Yeah, the location is great. There's so much. We're not just talking shit.
Yeah.
This is a real opportunity, and there really isn't that many more left.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much we can do. So if you are keen and you are interested, reach out.
How do they get in contact?
At the moment, it's just Instagram. There is a link. There's a link to the podcast. The podcast has a website.
Yeah.
Damn, I really want it. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Venu's just created one.
Nice.
And there's a link where you can find everything about that.
And then ads are coming soon?
Ads are coming soon too.
Yep.
So I'll put it in the description because I don't know the link off by heart.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
But it's all in there, or you can just hit either one of us or Titan Fitness with a DM.
Yep. Yeah, slide in.
So get in there. It's there really isn't much availability left.
Yeah.
So take it while you can.
Because we were picky as well because we wanted people who
we're working with guys
wanted to last. Again, longevity.
Yep.
Like people who are committed to the art that they were putting out, sort of thing. Yeah.
And you're working with guys. We've done hundreds now. I'm going to say easy. Hundreds of podcasts. With the guys, the tech guys who are just starting out, we're actually giving them advice on how to make a podcast that lasts a long time. There's a lot of things that you don't realize coming into a pod, like the amount of time that it takes, the work that's involved, how so many of them don't last, and we can help you navigate
the specific milestones that you have to hit to not be successful, but be consistent.
Yeah, exactly. And we're able to help you with that too. We give advice to all these guys on how to make their podcast last and make it fun and worthwhile. So you're working with people that know their shit.
Yeah, definitely. Some good producers right here.
Just saying. Not a flex. It's just the truth.
It's not a flex if it's fact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Just is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you want to wrap it up there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, thank you so much again for joining us on this episode. I think we covered some really good stuff, some really good points about burnout, how to deal with it as a creative.
Yes.
As always, guys, if you did like this, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you can. Costs you nothing. Helps out the channel. We get to grow this, get more guests on. The bigger our reach, the bigger guests that we can have come on and share their wisdom with you. Because that's, at the end of the day, that's all it is. We want to try and help as many different creatives, whether you're a photographer, videographer, designer, editor, that sort of thing, grow and do it for a long time in this industry, sort of thing. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Give us a like and a sub.
Yeah.
And a comment. I want more feedback.
Yeah, give us some constructive criticism.
Yep.
Or give us some, not constructive criticism. Tear us to shreds down in the comments. Tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like.
Yep.
That would be super handy. Because then, we'll get better.
Exactly.
And
or don't, we're still going to show up.
Yeah, true. I mean, we're doing this every week
for
the next,
very long time.
2 years. So, yeah. All righty, guys. That'll do.
That'll do.
Easy.
See you next
Another
week.
one. See you next time.